listening to Ada Jet Noise, and this is the Morning Flyby. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me on another edition of the Ada Jet Noise Morning Flyby program. Coronavirus 2020. What better? Hey, did you see the Christmas tree that went up at Rockefeller Center? It's like a 75-foot Charlie Brown Christmas tree. If you didn't see it, there's a picture of it and a video of it going up on Ada Jet Noise on Facebook. Hit like, hit follow. Follow me, please. Please, follow me. Yeah, it is quite the sight. Quite the sight. I'm assuming that they can, as soon as they dress it up, it's going to look lovely. But wow, 75-foot Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It's like, you know, when they lift it, the branches fall out, just like, you know, like any I don't know, plant, tree, or whatever. When it's on its side, all the branches fall in. When you lift it, they start to fall out, kind of fan out, right? I think that's the proper way to describe it. So they kind of fan out, and what happened was some of the branches actually fell out. They fell out. Off. There it is. They fell off. They fell off. So there's like these massive bald spots on this tree that they probably put up yesterday at Rockefeller Center. Apparently it's one of the smaller ones that they've had. It's 75 feet. There's been some 100-footers. They showed a video of them cutting it down. It seemed like it was fine when they did that. So I don't know what happened in transition, or if they switched the tree, or what, or if it was an old video of an old tree. But the one that went up there is the perfect symbol of how to end the year 2020. Merry Christmas, everyone! Again, Ada Jet Noise, you're listening to. This is the Morning Flyby. Catch me on Facebook and Parler and YouTube and Rumble. On Rumble, you have to look for, you click on channels and you'll punch in Ada Jet Noise. You won't find it in videos. You won't find it in videos. If that's something I have to correct, I certainly will. But if you go to channels and punch in Ada Jet Noise, you're going to see my adorable face. And the magic about that is that the magic about what I'm doing here is I actually do it more like a radio show. So you don't have to look at this if you don't want to. You can literally just find the video, turn it on, turn up the volume, and then walk away. Do what you're going to do. Laundry, have your coffee, eat breakfast, get dressed. If you're getting dressed, turn your phone away. So that I'm not looking at you, because that's just weird. That's just weird. Let's get into this wackiness that we call America and the world, quite frankly. Biden wants to magically wipe away student loans immediately. Biden was asked by a reporter on Monday whether student loan forgiveness is part of the economic agenda. Biden responded affirmatively, no doubt, pleasing the Democratic Party's far-left members. Outstanding student loan debt currently stands at $1.5 trillion. It's holding people up, Biden said, about the student loan debt. They're in real trouble. They're having to make choices between paying their student loans and paying their rent. Those kinds of decisions. Those kinds of decisions. It should be done immediately. The forgiveness of the student loan. Biden also supported voice support for proposal from House Democrats that would forgive $10,000 of student loan debt per borrower. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez also chimed in on Twitter. I'm not allowed to say AOC anymore. Things were bad for me. This is her quote. Um, she's actually speaking kind of third person kind of here. Things were bad for me, so they should stay bad for everyone else. Is not a good enough argument against debt cancellation, student, medical, or otherwise. Hashtag cancel student debt. Here's the magic of getting forgived for your student loan debt. The taxpayer will pick that up. So that means people like me get to pay for people, like even rich kids whose families can afford to pay their schooling. Um, we have to pick that up. The average Joe, the person with a job, has to pick that up. The taxpayer picks up the money that that goes to educating some careless, unappreciative little schlub taking, I don't know, women's studies or white racism studies or Russian literature. So the taxpayer picks up that bill. Here's the magic. Here's where it happens. You as a student would not have to pay for, according to Biden, would not have to pay for your college education, your university stay. The taxpayer does. As soon as you get out of the university, you become a taxpayer. Indeed, you become a taxpayer. So you will have to pay for going to school. And if you say, well, I just won't go to school, you still have to pay for everyone else that's going to school. And in the time that you probably could have paid off your student loan, you will not stop paying for other people going to school. You will be paying student loan debt forever. There is your student loan debt forgiveness. Welcome to the world of taxpayers. Mm-hmm. And then our taxes would go up about that much because we're paying off student loan debt. The forgiveness thing that you wanted. CDC quietly scrubbed their get them back in school information kind of thingy. Remember that? And they said get the kids back in school. Because they had information. Hey, I think the right thing to do is get them back in school. And I'm concerned about this because with the adjustments. Well, here, I'll share the story. A spokesperson for the CDC told the outlet some of the prior content was outdated and new scientific information has emerged. The site has been updated to reflect current knowledge about COVID-19 and schools. The outlet points out that just before information was scrubbed from the health organization's site, CDC Director Robert Redfield reportedly told Democratic Representative James Clyburn, who is chairman of the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis, that the information in question was out of date. In the statement on the matter, Clyburn said, "I am pleased that in response to this request, CDC has now removed 2 guidance documents unsupported by the science and has agreed to update 2 more that Director Redfield concedes are out of date." With infections rising dramatically across the country. It is critical that schools, teachers, and families have accurate, trustworthy public health information on the coronavirus. CDC Deputy Incident Manager Michael Beach, head of the department's coronavirus response, told the South Carolina Lawmakers Committee that the information at the time it was presented reflected accurate data. The CDC website states that the body of evidence is growing that children of all ages are susceptible to SARS-CoV-2, which is, if you don't know, the another name for COVID-19 or coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. That actually means something. Infection, susceptible to the SARS-CoV-2 infection, and contrary to early reports, might play a role in transmission. So, was that ever really a question that the kids, whether the kids can get it or not? They can get it. They have minimal effect on kids. It has minimal effect on kids, and their bounce back rate is like super high. All right, so they can get it and like kind of like almost blow it off. They can transmit it, sure, but it's almost a thing that they probably should just like let it blow through. You know, then there's immunities that get built up and blah blah blah. But and the kids are taking precautions. You know, they're doing the. Some of them schools are doing the hybrid thing. Their kids they're wearing masks. You know, I'm afraid that any changes give leeway to what's California and New York and Michigan are doing. They're keeping schools closed. You know, if they do open them up, they're just going to close them because of new guidelines. You know, it remains to be seen. You know, and also the mortality rate of the kids is compared to the death rate, to the mortality rate in general, just in the States, it's still I got almost invisible. I don't think it's even 2%, but when it comes to the kids, so the kids the kids need to be back in school. They need to be back in school. That is where they're safest during this whole thing. Speaking of Cuomo in New York, New York State has a $63 billion deficit as a result of lost revenue. People are leaving in droves. New York faces a 9.7% unemployment rate. New York City has a 14.1% unemployment rate, and the unemployment rate in the country is 6.9. So, due to step-by-step guidelines from the governor's office, tens of thousands of elderly people have died because of the COVID-19 crisis, SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. A lot of them have died in New York in the nursing homes. Literally inked instructions, really bad choices inked on how to handle the elderly and people in these nursing homes. Wiped out a bunch of people. Just awful. And of course, the highest number of coronavirus deaths is in New York, which is over 24,000, and the second highest is 16,000 in New Jersey. And it's pretty obvious to see that that the reason New Jersey's numbers are so high is because of the New York numbers. So all of those things combined can only lead us to one conclusion. Andrew Cuomo needs a raise. Yes, indeed. Andrew Cuomo gave himself a raise, $25,000 raise, making him the hot. I got choked on that for that second there. He making him the highest paid governor in the country. Over $250,000. Andrew Cuomo, who in no possible way can think that he is doing a great job in New York. I get it. The media wants you to think that he is the next best thing to sliced bread. He's so handsome. He's so charming. But did you see the news conference when the reporter asked him about the schools and where he feels that Cuomo just kind of, hey, look, man, what are you going to close the schools over? You're just going to take over the schools? People need their kids back in school. People depend on the schools not only for their child's education, but it's kind of like a daycare thing so that they can make a living, blah, 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 blah. So this guy and how is it that somehow Trump is rude and condescending and Cuomo is not? This guy was a douchebag. It was just absolutely obnoxious. He used obnoxious to describe the reporter. And then he just slathers all over everyone his soap of obnoxiousness. What a awful, awful dude. What a crap hole family the Cuomos are. Their mother is probably lovely. Their dad was a douche. Fredo is a douche. I'm sorry, Chris Fredo is a douche. He's always, what is with him wanting to fight everybody that challenges him on everything? He wants to physically fight everybody. What an awful family. So yeah, Andrew Cuomo gave himself a raise for being a crap hole of a governor. The far left feminist women's liberation front, Wolf, if you will, Women's Liberation Front, Wolf, is opposing the Democrats' pro-transgender Equality Act because it would weaken women's rights by subordinating women's biological identity to men's claimed sense of gender identity. So now, is it okay that we can say that these are men that want to be women, or do we have to continue calling them women? All right, because now the Women's Liberation Front, Wolf, is saying that women could lose rights to men that identify as women. Wolf, which says on its website, female humans, the class of people called women, are oppressed by men under male supremacist system called patriarchy. What could Joe Biden presidency mean? What could Joe Biden presidency mean? Look, this one's not that hard. What's happening to women with the transgender movement is one day we're going to look up and we're going to find out that women, or transgender women, that men are going to make better women than women. Mark my word. Men are going to make better women than women. There's going to be quotas. There's going to be laws protecting, demanding, insisting that these people get hired in the workplace. In the workplace, they're going to indeed be protected. There's going to be laws put in place that'll say that transgender women are going to have to happen in these areas, and women are going to start losing positions. It doesn't mean that you'll probably get. It doesn't mean that you'll get fired because hey, we got to bring in a transgender. Sorry, you got to go. It's not. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It means that a transgender is going to beat you one day to the workplace, and that person is going to take your job. I mean, call it conspiracy theory if you want to, but I'm telling you now. I posted the on Parler and on Facebook the story of the young lady that's suing. I think it's Delaware, where she was like top 5 in track and field in her state, and she lost her ranking because 2 transgender women, if you will, took over the women's track and field, 100 and 200 meters or something like. So they took over the 2 top spots in their state, dropping her down to an unqualified rate. She lost her ranking to 2 boys that want to be girls. And here's what's funny, is that the 2 boys that want to be girls that dropped everybody down in ranking, that ended up being 1 and 2, best in their state, could not even qualify in men's track and field. So they were in that in between. They're stronger than women, but weaker than boys. So they found that sweet spot, and they took everything away from the girls that worked so hard to compete in women's sports. All of that work shot away because 2 boys that dressed as women came along and wiped out all their work. They wiped out all their work. So that's just in sports. In the Olympics, when the Olympics will soon be in a position where they can't say no, where just men will just be competing. In fact, the top women's track and field, top women's in 100 and 200, she is not as fast as like 30 top high school boys. So the top women's professional track star in the 100 and 200 is not as fast as 30 top-ranked high school boys in the United States. That tells you all you need to know. So they're going to get to the point, it's going to get to the point where transgender women are going to indeed be better women than women. And the dark side is when these people start really getting traction under the new Biden plan, the new Biden protection plan. There is not enough manly men with the demasculization of men, with our uncanny ability to move the Overton window away from ethics, just keep moving it away from ethics. We're going to find more and more undercover affairs. We're going to find more and more undercover affairs. Because right now, if you truly believe that men base their decision on partners, sexual partners, on looks, some of those transgenders are going to meet those standards. And some of these closet guys, these down low guys, if you will, are going to cave. Are going to cave. And you may laugh, but it's happening now. And what you're just going to do is you're just going to start presenting. They're going to start parading these people out in front of out in the workplace. So those workplace affairs will turn from men and women to men and transgender women. If you believe that looks are the key to a man's decision making, transgender women will start to meet those standards. Mark my words, you heard it here. Lastly, ended on a less serious note. Houston Rockets star James Harden has reportedly turned down a record-setting deal in pursuit of a trade to Brooklyn Nets. But news reports indicate that his real motivation is because the owner, the Houston Rockets owner, Tillman Fertitta, is a Trump supporter. Bite me. He may say that. But no. You want to be the big bad activist, James? You're wasting your time. His biggest concern, Harden's biggest concern, that he wants to get traded to an East team, is that the Lakers and the Clippers are in the West. There's nothing that Houston can put together right now, financially, what have you. Even though they're willing to spend a lot of money, there's nothing that the Rockets can put together that is going to stop LeBron James and Chris Davis in L.A. And you could only build a team around Kawhi Leonard. It's a good team now. They just need that one more piece to start and that one more piece to come off the bench. Maybe another, 11, 12 points off the bench. But there's nothing in the West right now for James Harden. So yeah, he's going to the East because he's one of the best players in basketball, and he's got to show for it. He's got nothing to show for it. So you can blame Trump all you want because that's easy to do, but grow a pair, man. Grow a pair. You need a new beginning, and the easiest way to get into the championship right now is if you go to an East team, because all the heavy teams are in the West, and you're getting tired of trying to beat them, especially when you haven't had the big game. Oh, you've had some good games, but you haven't had the big game, either to get you in or to win it all. So, James, the Trump thing, blaming the Trump thing, it's getting old everywhere. So pull yourself together, brother. Go to the East if you need to, but because of Trump. Everything is because of Trump. That was enough for me, right? So I'm going to leave y'all on a darling note of I probably won't be here tomorrow. But wish me luck, because Fridays are always the toughest ones for me. So I'm going to try to do a show tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a little more lighthearted. I thought this one wasn't too tough compared to the last few days, man, because the news has just been all right. So thanks for joining me again. Again, A to Jet Noise Facebook, A to Jet Noise Parlor, A to Jet Noise YouTube, A to Jet Noise Rumble. Look for me, A to Jet Noise, 3 words on Rumble, on channels, not on videos, but on channels. And as soon as you get on channels, punch in A to Jet Noise, you'll see my adorable face many, many times. And again, if you don't, the magic about this particular program is you don't have to watch. You don't have to sit at your computer. You don't have to hold your phone. You can just turn it on and you can hear my soft, dulcet tones caress the air around you. Okay, that was just creepy. But yeah, you just turn it on and just listen. Just listen. If you could pick me up, on your in your car somehow with your phone, with a tablet or whatever, you can listen on your way to work. Do your laundry, drink coffee, get dressed, but turn me away from you when you're getting dressed. I don't want to see anything. That's just weird. Me looking at you while you're getting dressed. Ada Jet Noise on MeWe. MeWe. New to MeWe. Hopefully I can shine a light on, help, be a little part of shining a light on MeWe, which is a new platform, new forum. And they can help me be that guiding light in your life. I will see you soon. I'll say soon. Until then, big hug. Be good. Be still. Enjoy your life.